Our today's webinar would also be attended by our Honorable Founder President, sir, as well as great many other senior functionaries, including our great scientists, as well as a large number of students who will
Oh,
be
okay.
connected to this webinar from our university and also from our campuses. Because drone is an area of much wider interest, in fact, and it excites tremendous amount of imagination and creates excitement
Oh,
when you
yeah.
see a drone
Amazing,
taking,
amazing.
doing imaging and
Yes,
sending
yes.
live pictures. Even
Yeah.
during this Kisan movement, you find drone doing a job. In fact, I'm sure it must be doing a bigger job at our LOC as well as Coast Guards and also
Yes, yes,
a
yes.
whole lot of civil applications which are now
True.
being mounted on the strength of
Thank you,
this
sir.
drone.
Welcome, one and all. First of all, we seek blessings of our beloved founder president, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, sir, for this webinar on drone computations, which is being organized as inaugural event under the umbrella of Mission Drone. Honorable founder president is a source of eternal inspiration for all of us at Amity Universe. With his blessings and vision, all the campuses of Amity Universities have grown leaps and bounds and have been identified as most sought by the students of for their higher education. Founder President has imbibed the relentless working culture among all of us. Honorable Founder President could not join the panel because of his busy schedule, but is watching the telecast of this webinar. And with thanking note to Sir, we shall begin this event. Honorable Chancellor of AUH, Dr. Asim Chauhan, Sir, has called AUH as Innovation and Research University. His observations on minute details and his vision for leading the institute to march ahead of time is a wonder for all of us. Sir, hearty welcome to you for this event. Welcome to Professor W. Selvamurthy, President, ASTIF, whose age never grows. His thought and mission are always on run towards betterment and innovation. Dr. Selvamurthy, sir, has rekindled the spark of another phase of Mission Drone, and sir, hearty welcome to you. Hearty welcome to Professor P.V. Sharma, Honorable Vice Chancellor, AUH, for this event. Our Vice Chancellor is a constant source of inspiration for all activities at AUH. Sir, welcome to you once again for this event. We have with us DG AFSTIA Dr. Rajiv Sharma, Director AIST AUP Professor M.S. Prasad, Director AIAE AUP Dr. Sanjay Singh, Director Academics AUP Colonel R.K. Kapoor, and welcome to all the eminent luminaries present over here. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome the speaker, Dr. S.N. Omkar, Chief Research Scientist, IISc Bangalore. And I will introduce him to the attendees at a later time, and you will come to know that we have such a resource person who will be giving a complete insight about the image processing related to drone, and also something about yoga. You will be speaking few sentences. Also welcome all VCs, Pro VCs, and authorities of all campuses of Amity University, including those from Dubai campus, and the attendees from all the campuses, including faculty and students. We also have with our panel Dr. Shalini Bhaskar, Professor and HOD of Civil Engineering, Dr. Sunil Sikka, and Manish Bharti, and Manoj Pandey. And welcome once again. And Sir, Dr. S.N. Omkar, sir, let us welcome once again to you. And I request
Thank
now
you.
Honorable Vice Chancellor to give the welcome speech, please.
Very good afternoon to all the distinguished and illustrious persons connected to this webinar. Honorable Chancellor Dr. Sim Chauhanji, Honorable Dr. Professor W. Selvamurthy, the President of Amity Science, Technology and Innovation Foundation, my illustrious scientists connected to this webinar, members of the faculty, and my very dear student friends. Let me at the outset extend a very warm welcome to our very distinguished guest this afternoon, Dr. S.N. Omkar from India, is one of the most prestigious science institute, Indian Institute of Science, who had spared his highly valuable time to be with us today at this very important webinar, which is focusing on drone computations. And we are truly delighted to have you, Dr. Omkar, with us this afternoon and to share your valuable thoughts and also your accomplishments in an area which is creating tremendous amount of excitement, both in the student as well as in the research community, but also in the society as a whole. Now that the drone applications, both for civil as well as for the defense applications, are becoming more and more visible and more possible. The other day, I found a video where the drones were fighting fire in a multi-story building, where earlier our firefighters used to risk their life, in fact, to put the fire down. Now you can fly, in fact, the drones and take the water cannons right to the point and perform that heroic activity. The drones are also sending us live pictures of whatever is happening around the world, and also in strategic areas and critical locations from where they are performing this job with great certainty. And we are looking at drones tomorrow for a great many civil applications where they will be delivering a lot of goods and services which otherwise are currently delivered by people and by machines and by transport so far. So I think the great promise lies ahead, and we are also looking at drones otherwise also for a lot of social activities. I find when Indian marriage takes place, the drones are really doing tremendous amount of imaging, in fact, of the whole procession and also a great event. So we are greatly excited here in Amity University. As I said way back a couple of years ago, we found that tremendous amount of interest exists in our student community and also in our faculty. And they made drones, they flew the drone. We also had the privilege of delivering the first gold medal in our Amity convocation in 2015, which was attended by the Bharat Ratna Dr. C.N.R. Rao Sahab, who was also honored with an honorary doctorate degree from our university. The first gold medal was delivered by drone on stage in the hands of our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Sim Chauhan, present here at today's webinar. So you can imagine the kind of excitement we had, and we have also been covering all our activities, major activities like Amity Marathon, where hundreds of thousands of people really participate in the marathon in the city of Gurgaon, Millennium City of Gurgaon. The drones not only cover but also give us tremendous amount of confidence that yes, security arrangements, surveillance arrangements, and everything else is being up to the marks. We are also utilizing drones for also looking at our own locality much more closely. I think the applications are growing and therefore the interest is very high. I know that people like you are doing a great job at ISC Bangalore, especially your interest in the fixed wing unmanned aerial vehicles, which are called uninhibited aerial vehicles, is very, very important. And I know that beyond the quadcopter, when you have to go for a great mission with a longer flying time and with much greater certainty, then I think, and one much greater combat capability, then the fixed wing aircraft, unmanned aircraft become far more important. And therefore, we are greatly interested today to listen to you, the advancement made in the area of uninhibited aerial vehicles, UAVs, beyond the quadcopters and other unmanned aerial vehicles, autonomous aerial vehicles, which we had heard of in the past. We are also desirous here in our own university, as has been informed by Dr. S.N. Sridhara, the Honorable Founder President of Amity University, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan. For our own Honorable Founder President, the mission drone is very close to heart because he believes that this is one area where integrative science and integrated technologies can work together. Because drone is not just communication engineering or image processing or mere mechanical or aeronautics. It combines all engineering and all sciences together to deliver, in fact, the promise of integrative science and interdisciplinary engineering. And therefore, the research capability generated through the activities like design and development of drone and conceiving their applications and making it happen also serve the cause of tomorrow's science and technology, where integrative science and interdisciplinary engineering and science together, creating a better and blissful world. So I think the excitement in Amity is from that angle. And we look towards you beyond this webinar with great interest to communicate to you, to connect to you, even to collaborate with you and to work with you and take you on board to guide us how best we can put our foot forward to take our mission drone to the destined height for which it is designed. I thought these are some of the points which I thought I must say right in the beginning, because for us, your webinar is highly valuable. Firstly, because you are not an ordinary person, you are a man of great speciality, having tremendous amount of accomplishments already made in this area, but you are a human being also. I can see a great human being who had interest in yoga and meditation, writing 18 books on yoga. So we will be looking towards you beyond drone also to take you on board to see how best we can join you in your scientific quest for yoga and meditation. That part we will also discuss after the webinar with you later on. And with these opening remarks, ladies and gentlemen, may I hand over back actually the the mic to Dr. Sridhara to invite our Honorable Chancellor to say a few words, or Dr. Selvamurthy, as the case may be. Please, Dr. Sridhara.
Sir, Dr. Selvamurthy, President, Amity Science and Technology Innovation Foundation. Sir, you are requested to give a note on mission drone of Amity Universe and the future plans.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Sridhar. And the founder president, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan ji, Chancellor Dr. Asim Chauhan ji, and Professor P.B. Sharma, and all the very distinguished the panelists who are here, and the very distinguished guest today, Dr. S.N. Omkar, and all the viewers. So on behalf of founder president, I convey your best wishes for you, for your families, to remain safe, healthy, happy. Today, Amity is having a number of activities. Today, just now, there was a meeting where the Indian people of Indian origin, how do we harness them? What they are doing to develop the whole world. His Excellency Berners Burma was there, Member of Parliament in UK. His Excellency Lord Remy Ranger, MP, and for House of Lords is a member. And Jim Blay, he is Director Corporate Affairs TCS in UK. Dr. Kamal Bhattacharjee. So why I'm telling that Amity is very vibrant. So we are discussing today, one message was given by all those excellencies. Amity should become a leader in science and technology, particularly Dr. Kamal Bhattacharya mentioned. So if we have to assume leadership role, founder president has given missions. One mission is Mission Connect and Synergy. So today we are connecting with all of you, Dr. Omkar, and the participants of this webinar, whom we have selected, some of them who are already working, having the expertise in drone. So we are trying to bring all the pool of talents who have the capability to contribute to Mission Drone, which has been envisioned by our Honorable President, Founder President, Dr. Ashok Chauhan ji, who is also chairman of Amity Education Group, who has created 11 universities in the country and 17 campuses abroad, 28 schools. So this great man has envisioned drone is an important area where you can serve not only your security concerns and also strengthen your comprehensive national security, but also in the civilian sector, a large number of applications, be it in agriculture, be it in medical, and many other domains it can contribute, or even the law and order maintenance and so on. So he has, whenever he thinks of a mission, he has a long-term vision that he thinks 15 years hence, 20 years hence, in drone, what needs to be done for the country and for the globe. So with that vision, he has started this. And then our Dr. S.N. Sridhara, who is heading this asset in Amity University, Haryana, is spearheading this under the able guidance and leadership of Professor P.B. Sharma. And I'm sure with the blessings of Dr. Asim ji, who is the Chancellor of that university, this mission, with the participation of all of us here, will make it successful. We will become a leader in the science and technology domain in the field of drones. Now, coming to Mission Drone, this is where drones everybody has been talking about. This is not a new term. And it used to be called as unmanned aerial vehicles, uninhabited vehicles, and aerial vehicles. But the more important thing is it can operate at different applications. You can put them in different altitude, different endurance, different payloads, and different applications. So this mission was started when we looked at the capabilities available in Amity Group, that there are scientists who have this capability in propulsion, control, guidance, navigation, materials, and also payload integration, computation, CFD. All these are required for designing and developing a drone. So this capability today exists in Amity Group. And then there is a tremendous need in defense, reconnaissance, surveillance, and also even combat application of drone. When you look at the defense side, when I was in DRDO, there is a very major program on Nishant, and then pilotless target aircraft Lakshya. And we had another mission, Rustum. and which is now inducted into the services. So we were looking at various applications for pilotless target aircraft to fire a missile. And then we also sending it to the border areas for surveillance and reconnaissance to see that what the border safety is all about and what the enemy is doing across the border. So we were able to keep a watch. And then in the civilian application, when we in Amity, we saw a student at Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Noida, who had developed a drone which was demonstrated to Army Technology Board when they visited here. The whole delegation visited. And then founder said we should display it before the Army chief. So we had another exhibition organized in which founder president brought the chief of army staff to that stall of ours. And then our chief of army staff spent almost about 15 minutes only with drone, different type of drone, which Amity has developed through these students who have now become a big entrepreneur. So that was the trigger point that why not we launch a big mission on drones. So founder president, knowing the long vision, he started this. And today, in terms of civilian application, if you look at agriculture, you can put all the pesticides, fertilizers, everything, you can just apply it through this. And you can also have a surveillance, whether there is any infection. You put the cameras to see whether there are any manifestation of infection, symptoms of infection on the crops, be it a paddy or it is a wheat or any other horticulture produce. So you have that application. Then you can also look at the soil moisture. When you have to give water, precision agriculture, you need the moisture assessment, not only by sensors, you can even do it by drone. Then in terms of the law and order, as P.B. Sharma was mentioning, that you will be able to see the mob control, mob assessment. So who is the person who is creating problems? So all this could be spotted by the unmanned aerial systems. Then we can also use it for medical application. You want to transport now COVID-19 vaccine to a forward area, remote area, like Ladakh, for example, or in the Northeast, where the physical connectivity is not that good, you can drop it by the drones. You can even drop a pizza at your home through drones. So tremendous civilian applications, I named a few. But then having known all this, now the world is looking at, can we drop a tank? In the military, they are not just only discussing small payloads of few kgs. They are looking at tons. Can it be dropped? Or it could be even during the disasters. So these are the applications. There is a global requirement. There's a national perspective on drones. And so with that, the whole world is focusing on drone. Amity rightly has chosen this, founder president has launched this mission, and all of us have to make it succeed. And this is yet another attempt, but ultimately we need to crystallize into concrete action plan. I hope that this webinar will also bring out that getting knowledge, synergy is very important, but ultimately founder always said actions on ground are vital, and Amity is always a place of action. And I hope that this webinar will bring that action into the focus, and we will launch activities in the field of drone mission. Thank you very much, and good luck for Omkar. Thank you very much for accepting to deliver this. We are all eagerly looking forward to listen to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Sridhar, switch on your microphone.
Sridhar, your mic is muted.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much, sir, for your opening remark. May I request our Honorable Chancellor, sir, to say a few words and then we will start.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Sridhar. Dr. Omkar, we are so happy. I will not share many thoughts now. I think Professor P.B. Sharma and Dr. Selva Murthy have given a very comprehensive overview of the importance that the area of drone holds within the Amity overall umbrella, and the initiatives by our faculty and students that we are trying to put together to see how we can contribute towards nation building through this important topic of drones. Dr. Omkar, who is, of course, not only Chief Research Scientist of the Department of Aerospace Engineering at IISc Bangalore, but as he had mentioned earlier, is also the convener of a committee to streamline drone operations in the country, which is a very important committee, what I can empathize, because multiple stakeholders coming together to see how drones can be implemented. I think this is very important. Dr. Omkar had kindly offered that we should send Amity representatives to be part of this committee. Dr. Selvamurthy and Professor P.V. Sharma, I would request both of you to think about who are the right 1, 2, 3 people who we can send to be part of the initiatives to support Dr. Omkar in this very important initiative. And the topic today, the computations behind drones. I think this is very important because the algorithms, the software, the AI that will eventually make drone functioning more efficient, more precise, and sustainable. I think this is a critical area. We have a lot of computer science engineers online today who will be very interested to hear that what about the software aspect of drone? It is not only the hardware, but the computational mathematical algorithms that are the supporting function in the backbone of the actual flight and control. How do we do that? So Dr. Omkar, very grateful to you. We look forward to working with you going forward. I will not take more time. We are looking forward to hearing your words of wisdom and just my gratitude for your time and
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Chancellor, sir. First, let me introduce the speaker today for all the attendees here. Dr. S.N. Omkar is a multi-talented, multitasking, and multifaceted person. He is a scientist not only in technical subjects that are related to aerospace engineering, but also in health science and yoga. He obtained his mechanical engineering from Bangalore University and MSc Engineering and PhD from IISc Bangalore, and he is working as Chief Research Scientist IISc Bangalore at present. His area of interest include helicopter dynamics, satellite image processing, biomechanics, uninhabited air vehicles, autonomous navigation of UAVs, composite design optimization, structural health monitoring, and yoga. He is teaching several courses at IISc for masters and research students related to his area of expertise. Dr. Omkar is pursuing several projects and research work in the area of satellite image processing. He has developed a number of algorithms and used them for a variety of applications like road extraction, flood assessment, crop classification, crop growth analysis, urban fringe development, etc. Dr. Omkar has pioneered in using biomechanics for aerospace applications. This is of significance in the light of country's interest in human space mission. Uninhibited air vehicles, UAV, is another area with interest with focus for Dr. Omkar. He has developed a number of fixed wing models with autonomous capability. He has successfully used them for monitoring the land over vehicles developed by his laboratory that will be used for monitoring the flora and fauna of campus of IISc. Dr. Omkar also has plans to use UAVs for weather monitoring and radiation measurement. Dr. Omkar is also working on several other novel concepts of UAV. His publications have fetched 3,072 citations, and he has a H index of 29 and I-10 index of 52, showcasing the intense research activity done by Dr. S.N. Omkar. He has also done many work in yoga research. He has established a yoga and biomechanics lab at IISc and has been conducting many scientific research studies on various dimensions of yoga, on biomechanic aspects and theoretical aspects. Many scientific papers have been published in leading national and international journals. And for yoga for cricket, for the first time in the history, yoga education was introduced in the sports field, particularly in cricket. Many yoga camps have been conducted for the Indian cricket team, Ranji team, Indian blind cricket team, etc. And Dr. Omkar's students include Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid, Anil Kumble, MS Dhoni, John Wrights, and Greg Chappell, and many more. Dr. S.N. Omkar has been honored with highest state award from the state government of Karnataka, namely Karnataka Rajyotsava Award, in recognition of his contributions towards yoga and technology. He has published several research articles in yoga in reputed peer-reviewed journals, and is also involved in popularizing yoga through TV channels and leading weekly magazines. And he has already uploaded 120 free online yoga classes performed by Dr. S.N. Omkar, and it is freely available for all of us to go through. With this note, I request Dr. Omkar to take over. Thank you so
Dr.
much.
Sridhar, just
Thank you,
before
Dr. Sridhar.
Dr. Omkar online, I just want
Yeah.
to mention that there is a message that our founder president, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, he is in other meetings, but he will be coming in and out of this session. And he has said that later on, he will be looking at the whole recording of this session also, but he is sending his regards to Dr. Omkar. And I
Thank
also
you.
want to mention that our mother, Dr. Amita Chauhan, who looks after the Amity International Schools, has such an interest in the area. She has sent this message to a lot of our schools also, and I can see that there are a number of principals and teachers and school children also online listening. So I welcome all of our colleagues from Amity International School also. Dr. Omkar, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sridhara. I thank you all for giving this warm welcome to me. So should I share screen, Sridhara?
You please go ahead, sir. Share the screen. We'll just check it out.
Okay, so right. Share.
Yeah, it is coming through. Just 1 second.
So right. Are you able to see?
Just few more seconds. I think it is sharing, but it is not yet visible.
Okay. Because all my PPTs are
Yeah, it has come, sir. Now you can actually make it
graphics. Right. It will take some time, I think. Yeah. Well, it's on, Sridhara?
Yes, sir. It's on, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. So, thanks for that very nice introduction and warmth of welcome. Very good evening to all the Amity community. I'll be today talking about drone computing. I have 3 PPTs, but I don't know what the time will take us. We'll see how much we can do. In the first, I'll show you different types of vehicles that we have done, and then maybe if time permits, especially in the field of agriculture, what we have done. So this is the word drone computing. Drone computing means use of all this the algorithmic developments, both in drone driving and drone data deciphering. Driving the drone means, of course, one we know popular is through a pilot who is in ground and he can control through some sort of a joystick kind of thing or mobile phone, whatever. But autonomous is another thing where we pre-program the waypoint navigation and we just let it go, it will do that. And we have also done some work on how you can fly the drone just by your thoughts. We will look at that. So now, well, all the dignitaries on the dais, I thank you. Right. Now, these are some of the various aspects where we have worked, how to manufacture, in fact, manufacturing the frame of the drone, because many of these things, as you know, even today, we are importing. This is a hard truth. Not much has happened in terms of motors, batteries, the electronic speed controllers, although a lot of efforts are on in the country. We are also making in our own way. But most of the frames, etc., the mechanical part, we are now quite adept. We manufacture everything in-house. We have done some work in agriculture, energy management, environment monitoring, medical and health care, and also transportation. We'll see how much of it we can cover. Well, today, earlier, if you want to look at the Earth, satellite was the only option. Then we also had the manned aircraft carrying some of these instruments like cameras or whatever. And then came the UAVs in a big way to look at. Depending upon the application, each have their own role to play. So we need to, whenever we think of drones, we should also remember that we should also use the other possible technologies. For all problems, drone cannot be the solution. Today we see a lot of people, they come with some problem, they say we want to use drones, but if you analyze the problem later, you will realize that drones are not necessary. So I'm cautioning all the especially young students, just because you like drone, don't think of only drone as the only solution for all your problems that you conceive. So try to look at the broader usage of other things, etc., including the mobile phones, for example. So if time permits, I will also show you what we have done using just the mobile application for sugarcane health monitoring. Well, we know this, I'll not spend much time. Commercially, yes, the drone is a very niche area. A huge market is predicted. Things are happening in a big way all over. It is just that some regulatory problems are there, which are getting resolved now, even in our country. So anybody, even the entrepreneurs, the business mind that you have, the youngsters, well, here is a big opportunity, and we, as a country, in the region of drones, we are almost in par with the world. I don't say we are at par, but if we now delay, we will lose the race, and we will again fall into the trap of importing, using some branded items. I think we should all now um, uh, move our sleeves up so that we will not lose in the race. In fact, we will reach a place where we export rather than import. So drone has got that tremendous potential. Well, this is a definition which I give. Use of computers in drone driving and drone data deciphering. Please remember, drone driving is now fine. But what do you do with flying the drone? What data you get, and what is it that you can use it for? That's very important. Simply flying is no big deal. Earlier, when we started, maybe some 15 years back, there was a quadrangle in our department. Sridhara knows. I used to fly the drones. Then I used to see all the people standing, all the 3 floors, people used to stand, and there was no place. They used to see a simple quadcopter flying. But now nobody looks at it. Nobody looks at you. I fly means only I am there. Nobody looks at it, because just that flying has lost all that flavor. But now the point is, what for you are you flying? What are you going to deliver at the end? So that is where you have to really put your thoughts. So we look at this, some of the payloads that we use. One is, of course, the RGB camera. Then we can use LiDAR. It has its own application. Then you can use the multispectral or hyperspectral cameras, very useful for agricultural application. Then, of course, GPS is there. As you know, without this, you cannot fly. And for your information, there is the Indian GPS also called the NAVIC. Please look at this, and we are already trying to use this. This is a great work that is done from ISRO. Try to look at that NAVIC so that it becomes a part of our indigenization. Then these are the things. It's not complete, but some photo I had. This is what we have done in our lab. A variety of fixed wing, rotary wing. Even in the fixed wing, you can see a lot of varieties. I think we have designed, manufactured, flown, tested all this variety of things. More than 100 such vehicles we have done. And please remember, just for the students who are there, many of these things initially they are just made from ordinary foam, which is very, very cheap. Now, of course, you have to take all the care in flying, the regulations, etc. But I would say making one drone tray is very, very cheap, because many people think that this is very expensive hobby and they resist from entering in. So especially for students community, I'm telling you can do wonders to understand the initial flying characteristics, etc. by using very, very, very simple things. Then these are again, we have done from, the one you see, the micro UAV is 300 mm, and one you see on the right hand top is 4 meters span. So that is the spectrum that we have covered. A variety of architectures, including the delta wing. Recently, we flew a delta wing with turbojet. I cannot give you more details on this because of some confidential nature. We have flown for the first time in the country at about 250 kilometers per hour using turbo engine. This has happened for the first time in the country. Then this is the, you all know there is a pilot. He will control this the way he wants, and you can fly. This is the radio controlled mode. So this most of us are familiar with. And then there's the waypoint navigation. This is what we did in Kerala. See, that is called bungee launch. The vehicle, if you see, it has no wheels to land. It's just it will do a belly landing. So you set the waypoint sitting in the lab through your GPS. There are softwares to do that, and you go to that spot and simply launch it there. It will go in that whatever waypoint you have set. So this is semi-autonomous. If you make even landing and takeoff, that is called ATOL, automatic takeoff and landing. But there are some issues in that, but definitely waypoint navigation, semi-autonomous is possible. Then you see a lot of issues like this will come, especially in the field of agriculture. You want to fly a drone between this. Are you able to see the video, Sridhara?
Yeah, it is possible. It is visible, sir. Go ahead.
Good. Okay. So when you have like this, you see when you go under the tree, the obstacles are there, you have to avoid the obstacles. And many times under the tree, the GPS is not available. So when the GPS denied environment is there, what can we do? And we have developed a couple of algorithms. You can see this is the woods of the IISc. I'm sure Professor Sharma will enjoy this, seeing IISc here. And the drone, which is just Android, we have put a Android platform. It's autonomous, and you can see this is the texture-based algorithm. I will not go into the details, but it will find the path of least obstruction, and it will keep moving. So this is the texture-based supervised learning algorithm. Then we have also advanced this algorithm to the optical flow method. You can see this drone autonomously moving in the woods of the IISc. It is just a monocular camera. There is no stereo vision also. With stereo, you can do much better. But this is just one monocular camera that we have put. This is the optical flow algorithm. So this is very useful when you want to fly in GPS denied environment and when you want to fly in things like this. And there are also applications when you see in the forest, there will be a pathway, that's all. And suppose the military convoy is going, the pathway, you don't know what is ahead. You can send a drone which will just follow the pathways by doing what is called as the edge detection of the roads. So this is what we have done. You see IISc again, and this will detect the edges of the road. The drone will center to the edge and go. This is called as the road identification and flying algorithm. And the drone flies at about 40 kilometers per hour, which tells you how fast is this algorithm. Because in all these algorithms, because I heard that a lot of computer science students are there, if you want some algorithm to sit on the drone, it has to be very, very light. If it's computationally very expensive, you will not be able to use that, because one is it has to be real time, another is power. Power is the key issue. On the drone platform, you will not have too much of power for your computing. So we have done vision-based path following, etc. And then yes, quadcopter. This is, yeah, most of us fly quadcopters, but instead of simply flying, students can think of doing some system identification. From this, you can just, because the autopilot is there, it will give you all the details. All that you need is to fly them. You see, we have done that. Now this is the drone here on the right hand. This will fly, and this is the onboard video how it looks. Now we disturb this vehicle in pitch, roll, and yeah, and we record what is the variation and how quickly can it come to equilibrium. So that will give you the dynamic response, dynamic characteristic. Now pitch, we are disturbing. Now you can see the onboard video how it is swinging in the pitch. Then just leave it, give a small disturbance, give it, then get the response. Then you can do some system identification. This is a great way to learn some of the intricacies of these flying vehicles in a very simple way. This is especially for the students, I request, because these are simple experiments that you can do. It will give you a lot of understanding about even the analytical things. Now we see in roll, we have done in yeah also we do. Then get that, look at how things get coupled. And for a variety of vehicles, you can try and see. So even in the air, you can see this swing. So give the disturbance and leave it, then see how quickly it settles. Then this is another very interesting thing. you can make a very simple backpack, which will carry simply made of foam. You can assemble everything in just 42 seconds and launch. You can see this is real time. Just 42 seconds, a simple design. You can mount a camera. You can carry this on backpack. It's not too heavy. It weighs only about 1.4 kgs. So, for example, in some military purpose, you want to try, very easy to launch, and even for landing, it can take all the impact because of its weight. You don't get much impact. So it's very, very easy. So such things, at the student level, you can easily make. And I'm sure you would have made more complex thing, I guess. And then this is another very interesting, made out of carbon composite truss mechanism. See how light it is. The fixed wing, it weighs only 800 grams. With all your motor, battery, everything, just 800 grams. Perhaps it is the lightest we have made, and I have not seen any parallel. So this has some sort of a truss, the carbon composite fibers. The carbon fibers are, we have wound in the form of a truss. We have made a truss winding machine which is automatic, which will do this, and lightweight, it can carry a lot of weight and very easy to launch because lightweight. I just want you to observe that truss. You see how just leave it, it will take off because it's so light. That is the important thing. And then this is a vertical takeoff, and then you can transition to horizontal flight. It will take off like a quadcopter and then transition to this. We have made a newer vehicle now. I'm sorry, that video I don't have. I forgot to include, but this is another. This is called as the hybrid transition vehicle. Then there are cases, say, when you want to monitor a safety critical structure, you cannot depend upon the drones which have endurance like half an hour or 1 hour, because every hour you cannot take them up and down. We need something flying almost eternally, or at least for 24 hours, 30 hours. So in that case, we use what is called tethered drones. What we do here is the ground power, be it be battery or generator or AC power, is through a well-designed cable is given to the drone. And the drone can fly at a height of about 300 meters or 400 meters, with a 360-degree camera sending the information through the fiber optic cable. So it is very, very fast, and you can get to know what is happening around that area. So we have designed this, and this is our quadrangle. We have flown this for 24 hours continuously. In between, we have also monitored the temperatures on the motor, whether they do get heated up. We found that they're quite safe, and we have flown for 24 hours in our lab. And now this has gone to one of the industries. That industry also has got an order from the defense, and that academic to industry translation has taken place in this. So it is going good. We have made several improvements so that it also is dust resistant, etc. And then for aerial mapping for Chellakere campus, we have 1,600 hectares of area, about 300 kilometers from Bangalore. So our lab did the aerial survey. We flew this, and we are doing these things. We have to fly with about 70% overlap. So well-designed pathways are essential. Then you can mosaic this. This is our Chellakere campus. This is a very, very high resolution image, and you can zoom to any extent you want. This is another application. For example, here you can see you can zoom. Even this is actually at a low resolution we have done, but higher resolution you can go. You can even pick up some animal there. You can know, and the types of vehicles, etc. You can identify. It's quite useful. So these are things that you can do. There are algorithms which are available. And this is another thing. This is a very interesting vehicle which can take off from water and land on the water. And we can mount some water sensors You can hop at different stages. You can send the sensor data to the ground control station, or you can mount water collecting units so that you can have about 10 to 15 water sampling connecting units. It can go hop at different stations, spread maybe 10 kilometers apart, or each kilometer you can land and take the water samples, bring them for offline analysis in the lab. Whatever. For river pollution monitoring, this is going to be of great use. Now we are designing one more new vehicle for ISRO. And well, this is assembly of the aircraft, just for the students to take a look at it. And please remember, these are all students like from your colleges. They are not IISc or IIT students. They are all students from various other degree colleges who are working in our lab. This is just to tell you that, yes, if you have the drive, you can really do a lot of things. This is how this vehicle was made. The answer is yes, we did a lot of testing. And this another thing is, can you really control a drone using your thoughts? So this is brain-computer interface. What this is that there is a ECG headset, electroencephalograph. We had a 14-channel headset. You just have to wear the headset. It will collect the electrical signals from the brain cortex, and it can wirelessly transmit to a computer. There you have to do a lot of analysis, because you can see this bottom thing here. The signals, they look very crazy. The EEG, a lot of artifacts will be there, but you can extract the features and then translate it to drone understandable command and send it to a drone. So what you need to do is you simply should wear this and think, not even no action. If you think right, it will go to right. Left, it will go to left. Down, it will come down. Please remember, verbally, we need not say anything. It's just the thought. It's just the thought. Just the thought of this action can really make the drone to move. So this is what you can see the video. I'm trying to control the drone. I'll make it to move left and then right. Some 3 commands we were able to implement. And this was, this excited our local media. So a lot of news items came on our work. So it can move to left, and you can stop there, and I can make it move again. Move them. So 2-3 controls, it's very easy to get. More controls can be got provided you use a more sophisticated headset that are available today. And then this is the aerial view of our Department of IISc. This is our airstrip where we do a lot of our flight tests. This is our department. Now it also has something that resembles the airspace. So I'll go on to my next video. Yes, bear with me. One second. Yeah, I think I will do this, and if time permits, something else. So this is one thing that we did with regard to drone surveillance system. This is called the eye in the sky. We wanted to detect the violence activity detection. That's what we wanted to do. Drone is, of course, this is a very, very celebrated paper. You can go to Google and check. We have a mob, and see, this is our students who are conducting a mock drill. We define violence activity as, somebody pushing someone or dragging someone, hitting someone. So these things can be detected, as you can see here. And we have used sophisticated machine learning algorithms. Data collection is very, very important. Fortunately, we have a number of students. We could do a lot of sample connections in-house. So many of these things that happen, suspicious activities, we can detect using drones. One of my students, Amarjot Singh, currently in Stanford, and with me, he did that work. So whole point is that, drones can be monitoring, but whenever there is any violence breaks out or chain snatching, any antisocial activities are there, the drone video should go through analysis algorithm, which should immediately indicate and alert the concerned authorities. That is the idea. So this is the starting point. Collect the data, train them, use 3 different stages. I'll try to explain. And yeah, these are the things that we have considered: punching, stabbing, shooting, kicking, and strangling. We have defined. And then this is how it does. There are 3 layers. One is, first is the human detection algorithm. We do that. Then we use a sophisticated machine learning algorithm to do the pose estimation, because we need to see, first we need to identify whether it is human, because if 2 dogs are fighting, we cannot flag a violence activity. So it has to be human. And then you do the pose estimation and then check the orientation. All these things done are by the machine learning algorithm. And then finally classification, which is using any basic algorithm will do. We have used the SVM here. You can classify, and you can also capture multiple algorithms. So this is a snapshot of how the different layers of machine learning algorithm works, the regression network. And you can pick up multiple activities, as you can see, from the same scene. 2 or 3 complex activities you can pick up and flag it. So these are about some of the performance criteria. Well, this can be used, and this caught the attention of BBC. So they interviewed us for our work. I don't know whether you are getting that audio. I'm not sure.
Audio is not that audible. I think it is okay, visible. Video is playing, audio is not audible fully.
Okay, then I think, anyway, this is something. So they are interested to know how it works, etc. Well, yeah, that's. And another thing we did on disguised face identification. This was also figured on BBC. Here the whole idea is that even people are masked like this. All these are from our lab. So even then our algorithm can detect who that person is. This is before we talk today, we talk of mask, but before that we have done, you can see some of the girls here wearing mush and beard, artificial, and still we can detect them. We have used what is called as 14-point detection algorithm, 14 points. Using that, we have trained a machine learning algorithm to detect. You see, there's a girl wearing the mush and beard. Even then, we can detect. So this is another successful story that we have. And what is the end application? Now we have a drone which can fly. We have a disguised face identification. So what can happen? Of course, this is a short film we have taken from the YouTube, just to show how this technology can also be dangerous. You see, you have a small drone flying. It is fitted with a gun with a small bullet. It can have face detection algorithm. It's all based on AI, artificial intelligence. I'll just, oh, sorry, what happened? I just missed it. I just wanted to show you that it is, this is too futuristic, but why I'm particularly showing this is because small drones, they say, okay, if it is very small, they can fly. No need to have any sort of rules, regulations, etc. But you will see the danger here. You see, that is what it can do. So, and then this is of course rogue drones, because today this what we saw in the previous slide was a rogue drone. It can do harm. So if some such thing is entering, we have designed a vision-based algorithm to detect the drones that are coming to our area. Then we can see how to really annihilate them, shoot them down, etc. Because this is another big area where the country is looking for some very reliable ways of detecting. Because of course, in this video, they are very short distance, but we want to detect it much earlier, maybe some 3-4 kilometers away. Because these drones, what you are seeing here, they are flying slow. Today, drones can fly at more than easily 100-200 kilometers per hour. So you have to detect them early and try to shoot them down or handle them in whatever way. So this is a very, very serious research area where the whole world is looking at, and we should also look at that. Well, these are some of the laurels. The media has been quite kind to us, as you can see here. For agricultural work, the government of Karnataka, this is our ex-chief minister. He gave some financial support. And of course, our work on brain drone, see this, you can see this right side thing got the media attention quite well. Well, Sridhara, I can go on. I don't know how much time you have.
Is there anything that technical you would like to take up, Dr. Omkar, regarding that image processing and all? People may be interested in it.
What is that?
Some of those algorithms for image processing, which you actually mentioned.
Well, that will be too much for the talk, I guess.
Okay.
Anything on design of propellers, design of airframe, or any exciting applications beyond this, you can surely present if you have.
I think I have something on radiation monitoring, etc. I'll just pick up. Just give me a couple of minutes. I wanted to show you something on radiation monitoring. Hopefully this PPT should have. Yeah, particularly on some of the applications I show, because all the design aspects are, I think, more of a classroom kind of a thing. If there is a core group, then it is easy for us to discuss such things. So these talks, I have made it more generic so that it addresses a larger heterogeneous group. So this is what we have done. You see, now monitoring this high tension cables is the issue even today, because they go in all remote areas, and they are even manually done today, and most of the times they don't go there, and they just, there is nothing called as preventive maintenance. The hot spots are not generally seen. Other alternatives, they go with helicopters with a thermal camera, which is expensive, 75,000 rupees per hour. What we have done is we have developed an algorithm. You can fly the drone automatically. You see, it can detect the cables. You see the bottom. These are all based on some of the AI algorithms. So once you leave the drone on top of the cables, it will keep on tracking the cable for 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers, whatever, and come back. And there can be a thermal camera, and if there is any red spot, it can cover, and it can give the GPS tagging for that, so that they can easily detect. This algorithm we have developed, and then we have done a lot on road extraction. You can extract the road, know what type of road, how much is bitumen glide, how much is kacha road, mud road, or even the pothole, etc. All these things can be done. Then this is another important thing that we did for radiation monitoring, because in case of any radiation disasters, it is very tough to for human interference. We need to know what is the radiation level. So we have designed a vehicle UAV which can carry the radiation equipment called the Giga counter, very sophisticated one, which can carry, it can fly and give you the readings. But to test it was a challenge, because lab-based cobalt kind of things, they can emit radiation only up to about 1 feet. So what can we do? Then we found that in Kerala, Chavara coast, the natural radiation levels are 12 times higher than Bangalore. Therefore, our team went there. We took all our equipment there. First, we wanted to mount it on a quadcopter. We just wanted to test. Well, designing this, because this is a very, very sensitive equipment. There is a glass tube, which has to be, we must carefully design for no impact. So this housing design, etc., mechanically is very interesting. So we did all that. We flew, we recorded. We wanted to first check with the control of the quadcopter, and we also plotted the radiation levels. As you can see here, the bottom graph is IISc, and 12 times higher is the Chavara coast. This is also predicted by earlier studies, so we were able to verify. And then we fixed it on the fixed wing. This is the bungee launch. On that now, if you want to sweep a large area, fixed wing is important if you want to quickly. So these, you can mount these sensors, then it can do this flight plan wherever it want to go and cover, and it can remotely transmit at every station what is the radiation level. And there are some special design features for this, and you can see this is the belly landing. This was particularly designed for this coast, because the impact has to be minimal, and wheel-based flying is not possible. So this is the onboard video, how it looks. So we got all the results. It gives in counts per minute the radiations with the GPS tag. You can get a color map like this. Sometimes as things can go wrong, it happened to us. We lost the communication, and they really searched. And because it was a sea coast, you see, this is post after we recovered the data, we analyzed. This is what happened. Somewhere here we lost, and because it is all sea, the students thought that it has fallen into the sea, and it was worth about rupees 6 lakhs. It was 6 lakhs is quite big for academic labs. We thought it is gone, but Kerala, is the land of gods. God smiled on us, and see what happened. We'll show you the onboard video also. See, it is like this. Almost water we thought. Then it got struck to a coconut tree, which is well known in Kerala. And nothing happened, not a simple scratch. One gentleman came and took it, and our students searched for 7 hours in the night. Locals, WhatsApp, all that helped. And this gentleman took it on his bicycle and kept it. He didn't know there's a camera looking at him. He's also doing some test, whether it is working or not. Then after it was about 11 kilometers away from where they launched, they were able to recover. So there is about some small adventures that our team had. So ultimately we recovered. So this is one interesting project that we have done for the country. Then of course the agriculture, how to fly in all these difficult terrains. You cannot just go flat on the contours like this. You will have to do what is called a terrain hugging, for which we use a machine. I will come to this later. And skip all these things. Yeah, using machine learning. So we use multispectral things. We have this is a very important thing that we have done. Tomato yield estimation. Near Bangalore, the 60 kilometers away in Kolar, a lot of tomatoes are grown. Perhaps Sridhara should remember. And sometimes the tomato prices will be 80 paisa per kg, and sometimes it can be 80 rupees per kg. So this because the supply demand is not understood. So we wanted to know whether we can use the drone technology to do the yield estimation. And we know the demand from the Hopcoms, so we can tell the farmers whether to grow more tomato or not. So initially we did some self-organizing map approach. So top right, you see the actual image. Bottom right, you see our prediction from the algorithm. They almost match. But now with machine learning algorithms, we have further advanced to detect the tomato as an object. As you can see, each tomato, the boxes are detected from our algorithm. Each tomato is marked in the box, and the size of the box is proportional to the size of the tomato. So you can know the size of the tomato, you can know the number of tomato, which means you can calculate the yield properly. And because the RGB texture is available, you can also grade the tomato based on this thing. So this can be sent to a cloud, the image. In the cloud, you can do all the analysis and put it so that anybody who wants to purchase can actually directly contact the farmer. This is the whole idea with which it has been done. A close look at the image is here. Number of tomatoes, including their size, is indicated here. So, well, this is about the canopy classification. What we have done in IASC, we took the video. This is the IASC campus, and you can do the classification, what type of tree it is. Here we have used all types of algorithms, about 8 to 9 algorithms we have used to detect both supervised and unsupervised way the various tree canopies that are there.
I think Dr. Sridhar, we may now, Omkar,
Yeah.
What I suggest is a lot of questions are there we can discuss.
Okay.
At the end, we can also discuss how do we connect with you? How do you join?
Oh, yeah, most welcome, most welcome.
That is
Let me see what else I should say.
So Sridhar,
Sir.
We can start with the questions.
Sridhara.
Yeah, sir.
This is with Professor Jagdish.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So this, this is a nano mister, especially for agricultural use.
Right. Very important.
Drone can carry, and you see the mist. Okay.
There is a question on this also. I saw the question box.
Then
how do we
on
use
seed dropping, we have done pioneering work, myself and Professor KPJ Reddy. If you Google, you will find our names as the first in the seed dropping using drones. Okay, so we did that, for which, well, this is one of the giant we actually developed, a huge vehicle which can carry 10 kgs of seeds. The Gauribidur main road, the police helped us in blocking the road and flying. So that's, and then you can drop the vehicle. Yes. Well, this is something on imitation learning. Okay. Well, I think we have a lot more, but as Professor Salamurthy
you
said,
may be knowing Chitradurga, we have started runway for. You may be using it, isn't it, Chitradurga?
Not really, but we are talking to them because we are the Quality Control of India asked us to look at certification of drones. So we are
Right.
trying to establish a center there. Well, I think,
Yeah.
thank you very much. I have a lot more, but in the constraint of time, I think I'll be happy to take few questions.
Dr. Omkar,
Thank you all for your patient listening.
yeah, thank you, Dr. Omkar. I know that you have got lot many things to actually, depict and educate us. I'll quickly take up a few questions here, and then I think we
Yeah.
can go ahead.
Yeah.
The first question, what somebody is asking, what is the scope and future if anybody want to start a startup for doing drone-based services?
See, to answer, I'll tell you, there are 10% success stories, 90% failure stories. At one point of time, several people simply jumped into starting startups, and most of them today have closed. But the tremendous scope provided you are innovative. And we must learn to work in a cooperative way. The moment if I go as one person who will find all solutions, you will be a failure. For example, even today, we don't have a platform. In fact, that's what we were discussing in the 3-day webinar. We had to create a platform, for example, for agricultural domain. Most of the things, the plant diseases are known, machine learning algorithms are known. But if everybody start developing his own algorithms, it will not go anywhere. As a nation, we should develop one platform, one cloud computing center, and where you see the drone can be offered as a service. It will go anywhere, fly, and you simply upload the image. All the analysis is done centrally, and then the results are given to the mobile platform of the farmer. So this is what we should think. Then the usage becomes easy. This is number one. Number two, when it comes to agriculture, for example, we should also know how to use the satellite technology in conjunction with the drone, because drone alone cannot be solution for many things. So if you plan as a larger team and each person picks up one segment where he can specialize and contribute, then there is definitely tremendous scope. We can bring in a large revolution, because we should remember in our country, we have our own challenges. American solutions do not suit us. Indian problems need Indian solutions. In our country, more than nearly 80% of the farmers are small holdings, about 2 acres average. It is not large piece that is available for you. And even town planning in India is tough. For example, road extraction we have worked. In US and Europe, road extraction, any simple egg detection algorithm will work. In India, all the algorithms will go for a toss. None of them will work. Because we have so many subarterial roads, very tough. So we have more challenges. Even we were talking about the medicine supply. Well, we have our own challenges. You can really work how to make a drone reliable. We had a workshop on Indo-US workshop on medical drones where I presented. Then there are medical legal issues right now. That's why it has not come. But also one of the questions, I'm just telling you what one of the doctors said from Apollo Hospital was very interesting. He said that, say the heart, for example, within 1 hour they have to transplant. So how did they do? For example, somebody in Bangalore needs the heart. The moment the heart leaves, say Chennai, it comes to the airport. The moment the heart leaves, they prepare the patient here. They cut open, they make everything ready just to transplant. Suppose your drone is coming, your drone fails, your drone will fall down. Then that heart is gone. But what happened to this person whom you have almost cut, made him prepared? What answer? Who will take the responsibility? So now how do you make drone reliable? So reliability, how can you? We know engineers, there is nothing called 100% reliability. We all know. But
Security and reliability of drone is very, very important.
very important. So what is the guarantee that you can give such things? And especially even rogue drones. If there is a drone attack, how do you really prevent? How do you detect? How do you prevent? What are the mechanisms? And how do you make drones safe? And today, another biggest thing, you don't have to really make drone to be in the drone industry. How do you manage the drone traffic? Today there is not much of traffic, but you can see in future, if Amazon is going to start, tomorrow everybody will start. Because it's affordable technology, you can imagine thousands of drones moving on our cities. What is the safety, security issues?
Sure.
What do you mean by drone corridor? How do you manage the traffic of the drones? There are several open issues where all you can really use the drone technology. It is up to your own innovative thinking. And
Very
not only
good.
that, how can you get better surveillance? Today, why police have not used drones as much as we desire them to be used? Because of the endurance problem. Because nobody wants to fly a drone for half an hour or so, bring it down again, fly, again, fly, again, fly. Look at the solar-based UAVs, which people have done elsewhere in the world, which can fly for more than a week, day and night. So, especially our country, it has got more solar potential because we are a tropical country. So, at least in 8 months, we have no issues at all, any part of the country. So, how can we harvest this solar thing so that we can have a vehicle which can, let us say, go around your city, maybe for 1 week or so with one camera, and put some lot of analysis algorithms, drone computing algorithms. So I would say,
Dr. Omkar, there is
Yeah.
one question from a school student, our Amity International School, Saket, class 6 student,
yes,
Yashvin Mishra,
Hmm.
and also Manjusha Kumar. How can we introduce autonomicity in drone? How do you make the drone autonomous? Not
Yeah,
only
well,
remotely piloted, but
Yeah.
autonomous.
This is very easy because today all this Pixar class of autopilots, they come with built-in algorithms. You just have to sit, get your GPS map, get the GPS locations, load these GPS locations onto the firmware. All that is readily available. It is no difficulty at all. You can Google it, you can find out, do it.
Mastery over the algorithms design and its
No,
integration.
we don't have to design the algorithm also because it is a public shareable algorithm. It's all ready-made. But
Dr.
you are a 6th standard. Please be careful when you fly. You should
Right.
take some permissions, etc. These days.
Very important. Yeah.
Be aware of the regulations part because just 3 days back in Bangalore, I think 3 people were arrested because they flew the drones over military area.
Yeah, we are still waiting for the regulations.
Regulations are
Very
there
small
now. You can
and,
register and do, but be careful.
Yeah.
But to answer the question, it is possible straight away.
Dr. Sridhara, there are 47 questions. Go fast and with crisp answers.
Yeah, quickly, I
Cover
will
as
just,
many as possible you
Yeah,
can, and then you can also invite Manish Bharti to take up a
Sure,
few
sir.
questions.
Sure.
Yeah.
Dr. PCS Devra is actually professor in our AUH. He is working with atmospheric science and the pollution monitoring. He has a question here: how effective the drones for atmospheric and ocean research can be used?
well, it is quite useful. It all depends upon your sensors. But the problem will be with the gust.
Gust,
When you
yeah.
want to go close to the coast, how much gust can it take? So there are a lot of aerodynamics because today simple drones are no longer aerospace property. It belongs to everyone. It's a multidisciplinary. But these are the things which are specialized. It depends upon at what altitude you want to do, and higher you go the altitude, then that needs specialized considerations because air density decreases. A lot of aerodynamics parameters need to be considered. So it's a design problem which we can handle. There's no doubt.
Yeah, there is one question from the school student here. Are you designing your own flight control unit, or you are using open source FCUs or something?
We are using open source, but a lot of people in the country are developing their own because our focus area is something else. So we have not devoted time to this thing. We just see what is reliable. We just adopt that.
Okay, there's another important question regarding image processing. How do you nullify the image blurring due to the speed of the drone near an object?
No, today there are a lot of onboard camera stabilization algorithm itself available. So the video quality you get are really quite good. There is no blurring at all. The mounting, where you mount the camera with respect to the propeller, that really matters. So this thing, I think this issue is well resolved.
And which are the passages and agencies for funding on drone development? Whom can we approach?
Amity University.
Now, Amity University would like to collaborate and get funding. So can we approach you is the question.
Yeah, well, academic institutes, we all are the same platform. We can together write to some DST or some government agencies, provided we have an interesting case. Just the drone today will not sell. We should have interesting applications which can really make a case.
Okay, and you actually gave a very good option. I mean, the discovery on BCI. And there's a question here: did BCI work according to your designed output?
Yeah, we could 3 commands we were able to generate accurately because we had a somewhat very low cost EEG headset. If you have a better sophisticated headset, we can do better.
Thank you. And Mr. Manish, you have a few questions from your end. Please open up and say, unmute. Yeah.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, there is a question regarding the development of drones in India. The question is regarding the delivery drones, and the inquirer would like to ask, what are the delivery drones which are used to deliver goods by companies to the customers? Are there any developments in India as such?
Oh, plenty. In fact, we have also done that in the IISc campus. We have shown emergency medicine delivery, packet delivery, everything. I did not share the video because of time. But in country, there are a lot of companies who have proved. All are waiting for some clearances. That's all.
And sir, there is a question regarding, is there any need for frequency allocation and clearance?
No, there are well set public domain frequencies. So if you are using that, no clearance is needed. It is all well published. In that frequency, you are allowed to fly.
Okay. There is a question from Dr. Devra. He wants to know what correction methods can be utilized for aerodynamic effects. I think it must be related to the gust problem of the oceanic.
Yeah, that depends upon what altitude you want to fly. The flight parameters are very important. Looking at the flight parameters at what altitude you want to fly, then we can design the gust resistance. How to provide, whether it is what type of vehicle it is it only rotary or hybrid or only fixed wing? Several such issues are there. But yes, it is quite possible. Today, a lot of analytical softwares are also available. And then we can also do a lot of tests. It's quite technically feasible problem.
Okay. So what are the merits and limitations of optical flow visualization and guidance?
Optical flow is good provided you have a good computing platform on board. On-board computation should be real time. Then if you use a stereo camera, it should be effective, and that is better than the texture-based algorithms.
Okay. So there is a question regarding the weight ratio of payload to the weight of the drone.
Mr. Manish,
weight ratio of the payload and drone.
Mr.
Yes,
Manish,
sir.
would you like to mention the name who has asked, because that is important from whether it is so it's better to always mention the name of the person who has asked the question and then subsequently ask the question. Over to you.
Yes, sir. Just give me a minute. Sure, sir.
Omkar sir, this question is about people are asking the weight ratio between the payload and your machine.
And who has asked the question?
This is one of the student. He has sent a personal WhatsApp to me. Right. He is not into this. He is actually watching through YouTube.
Generally it is 30%. But depending upon your own indigenous way of, for example, we use that carbon truss based thing, then it could be much larger. So it depends upon how you design your frame.
Sir, I think the questions have been exhausted except a few of them which are repetitive, like how do you make UAV and all that. And those things actually we have already made in one more session earlier.
Dr. Omkar, the major issues are how do we increase the payload for a drone and how do we really improve its reliability as well as safety and security? Because this is an area which is very sensitive and hundreds of applications are before us. Some of them could be very important, like the one you said, live organ transplant, transport from one place to another using drone. So reliability, payload, as well as, in fact, how do we secure the pathway adopted by the drone? These are the major issues. I'm sure your lab and you and your research scholars must be engaged in these areas. What do you see as a future of drone technology in India? I mean, you see a great future lying ahead, a great excitement. Would it be lifting a vice chancellor from one university and take him to another university, facilitating actually a kind of a personalized transport system kind of thing? What you have in mind?
It's all there. You see, the whole problem with air taxis is not the technology. The problem is with traffic management. And as you said, the reliability. Because the moment, for example, you take all our latest computers, what they use even in NASA, on the spaceship, is a technology of 15 years before. They don't use the latest computers because reliability is the main concern there. The moment man is in loop, the reliability becomes a serious issue. The cost will go up nearly 50 to 60 times. Because then you need all mill-grade things, then your UAV cost will go up, which becomes quite expensive, at least in the beginning. And then how do you do the traffic management? One vehicle moving is no problem. Hundreds, thousands of vehicles moving. So
I could be waving off to Dr. Selvamurthy, who may be moving in another vehicle and saying, hello, how are you? But surely the issue is of navigation and avionics would be very, very serious.
So I think it's going to come. People are talking about this automating the air traffic management using advanced algorithms. Things are coming. I see a great future. There's no doubt. The technology is really developing.
Apart from the batteries, are you looking at some other modes by which the tomorrow drones could be or uninhibited aerial vehicles could be powered? I mean,
people are talking about
IC engines have already come in, but beyond IC engine and
fuel cells are there.
Turbojet engines, are you looking at some futuristic visions like maybe some rocket propellant being used?
Not really. These fuel cells, people are talking a lot about fuel cells. But we don't see it, but some studies are already there. People have flown with fuel cells. I think that's going to be one of the things.
Manish, you excited the imagination of your students for aero modeling and designing many of the fixed wings aircraft models. How would that dovetail with the development of uninhibited vehicle technologies? Of course, integrating the algorithms and a whole lot of software from Dr. Omkar.
Dr. Omkar, actually, I'm so happy. Manish, actually, Manish will be leading after, within 1 week, actually, he will be contacting you regarding some collaboration with IAC and all. So please be in touch.
In another 10 minutes, I have to join another meeting.
No, sir, we'll just finish it off in a few seconds.
Manish,
thank you very much for coming. And I have Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. Padmakali Banerjee with us. She would like to speak a few words about our effort in drone.
Just before that, Dr. Sridhar,
Professor Omkar, it was indeed a pleasure, in fact, listening to you and for the great work that you have done. And there is a lot of, we see a new India now with a lot of innovation and creating a lot of opportunities and more focus on sustainability. So keeping that in mind, Amity University, Haryana, which is very much research and innovation driven, we have a very interesting flexible credit system. And we have a lot of, minor courses. And very recently, and with the vision of our founder, and who was very interested that we launch minor and open electives, and also our, direction that we've got from the Chancellor, we are really happy to announce that we have very recently worked out a very interesting minor track in this area.
Okay.
And definitely, I think it will be great to have you as a mentor for the program. And at
Yeah,
a
sure.
later stage, we will invite you. And
Sure.
of course, there is a huge lot of exposure that the students will get. And primarily, we would definitely like to partner with the government in terms of the niche areas where research can take place. And so far as artificial intelligence, big data is concerned, I think putting all of them together, and I think the management and the multinationals are working very closely in this area. So drone is all encompassing, not just the area, one area. It is going to penetrate into different areas, whether it is
Yeah, yeah.
disaster management, whether it is decision making. So, and I think a lot of good areas that we can work on. And we have some of the faculty, definitely we can create workshops around for train the trainer. So we can get good people from the industry as a connect. So Dr. Sridhar, I think this is something we would very happy to do. And we'll definitely invite with his time and opportunity that we can get.
It's my pleasure. Yes.
You should come.
Dr. Omkar, there
Yes,
is
sir.
I want 2 minutes you spend on how
Yeah.
a big institution with so many campuses, so many engineers. Engineering students are very strong. How can we contribute to your mission? Because we have computer scientists, mechanical engineer, material scientists, and who writes algorithm software scientists, and also the payload integration CFD. We have a very strong group. So to make you very strong in this area, how Amity can connect with you? Can you just spend a couple of minutes? We
Well,
are very eager.
we have a lot of problems to be handled. I mean, it's not just for AISC. I'm talking on behalf of the country.
Right.
A lot of open issues, for example, agriculture or whatever, even in the safety, security issues. We can plan and define a particular problem because we have a large student base. We can conduct a start of a student competition.
Right.
They can write their algorithm. They can prove their worth. We can analyze them. Maybe best award can be given. All that can be done. And the best thing can be chosen, refined, and put it to use.
Very good. Manish Bharti, quickly 30 seconds for you and 30
Yes,
seconds
sir.
for Manoj Pandey before I invite my Honorable Chancellor to give the closing remark. 30 seconds to Manish Bharti, very quickly, what you wish to say about the
Sir,
excitement. Yeah.
Sir, Dr. Omkar, we are very happy that you were here amongst us today. Here at Amity University, Haryana, we also have a Department of Aerospace Engineering, and our students have been engaged in making quadcopters, hexacopters, as well as fixed-wing aircraft. But I think we are still at the amateur state, and we need your expertise and guidance so that we can also come up to the same level.
Very
And,
good.
Sure.
Manoj Pandey,
Yes,
very
sir.
quickly. You have been involved with the drone, especially the electronics and software parts.
Yes, sir.
Manoj?
Thank you very much, sir, for your very informative session. Actually, sir, I have a little question. I want to ask you that for time.
Your voice is not coming all that loud.
Pandey, your voice is not coming. Audio is not there.
Keep the mic closer to you.
Yes. Yes.
Is it audible now, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, speak louder still.
Sir, thank you very much for your very informative session. Actually, I have a little question to ask from you. Like for time critical applications, we should go for cloud computing or onboard computing.
To begin with, you can do on your own platforms. Because cloud, I don't know whether you have your own cloud or you have to hire a cloud, buy a cloud, but that is later. First, you prove your algorithms with onboard, whatever is available, then we can port it. In fact, we have done that in one of the applications.
Omkar, sir, actually we have cloud, but I think onboard, as you said, we can start off, and then Manoj Pandey is interested in it. He has developed many programs on board, so he is looking for the further expansion.
Right. Honorable Chancellor is here for the closing remarks, sir. It has been a very exciting, actually, webinar to see the multiplicity of applications and variety of drones and uninhibited vehicles being deployed, developed, and really made worthy of their applications by Dr. Omkar.
Thank you so much. And I'm sensitive to the time of dear Dr. Omkar, who has to get onto another call. So I will just say thank you, Dr. Omkar. We have today been exposed to a small glimpse of your incredible competence, your devotion and dedication to the country, to technology, and to drones. I think the term Dronacharya the drone acharya, which we saw in one of the headlines, was absolutely applicable to you, and I really enjoyed seeing that. And I just want to share that not only did I see every minute of the thing, but our founder president just called. He has also seen the whole program, and he is giving his compliments to you, Dr. Omkar, also for the tremendous work. It is now up to us. We will be in touch with you, take your further guidance. This committee that you are steering, we will send some people for that. And just as a attempt to contribute in the overall mission that you are leading for the nation, and how can drones be done, and how can Amity contribute more? Dr. Selvamurthy, you have asked so many good questions, Professor Sharma. My compliments to you, to the whole team at AUH for having organized and brought Dr. Omkar. But thank you so much, Dr. Omkar, for today. We'll leave it here and look forward to being in touch with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, founder president just joined.
30 seconds for you. Dr. Omkar, I must tell you, superb, unbelievable, unimaginable. I was attending 3 other meetings, but I have 4. I can attend 4 talks, but what you did has given us a new way, new path. And you told out of 100%, 90% startup fails, but we will be around 10% with your help. I want to be the biggest drone person, research, production, innovation, and the
Definitely.
So I think today's your discussions have opened our eyes, and with Dr. P. Sharma and Dr. Aseem Chauhan, Selvamurthy, and our very worthy Sridhar and Manish, I think we will have the aim of drone kings. All the best. We are so grateful. Aseem,
thank you, sir.
To offer honorary professorship to Omkarji.
Right. Yes, we'll write.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I'm really honored.
Very valuable time, sir.
Really honored.
Thank you.
So, just to end, I would like to mention that we can form a core team at Amity. We can have a separate discussion. We will formulate, we will identify some specific problems which can be thrown open to our students as a challenge.
Yes.
So they will contribute, then we will see. I would like to say that startups will fail because many of them will jump out of fascination, not out of understanding. So if you understand, if you plan well, I don't see any reason why things should fail. So I think we should encourage people to think properly, spend more time in planning before actually getting into this entrepreneurship. Anything well planned, I'm sure it has to succeed.
Very good.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Dr. Sridhar, we can close the session. We have to let Dr. Omkar go, so please, you can wind up.
Thank you. Manish, actually,
thank you all very much.
Cast vote of thanks. 30 seconds, please.
So I'm extremely grateful for everyone present here today, especially Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, our Honorable Founder President, who was actually able to spare a few seconds of his valuable time. I'm very grateful to Honorable Chancellor Sir Dr. Aseem Chauhan, Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir P.V. Sharma, Dr. P.V. Sharma, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Ma'am, Professor Padmakali Banerjee, our Director Sir, and our valuable guest, Dr. S.N. Omkar Sir, who is actually a very multi-talented person, and he was able to spare his valuable time, come and guide us, showcase his work which he has been conducting in the field of drones. And I am very confident that we can actually contribute and as well as learn from Dr. Omkar. I am very sure that we will be getting good guidance, and we will be working together towards the completion of Mission Drone, which is a very which is a very clear and very dear to heart to our Honorable Founder President, sir. I'm very thankful to everyone present here, especially the students who has asked great questions, and a very good evening to one and all present here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to Founder President and Honorable Chancellor, sir, also. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Chancellor, sir, for all your time for us for this webinar. And thank you, Honorable Founder President, sir, for your very valuable thoughts actually on this very important topic. Thank you, Dr. Selvamurthy, and all our honored guests, and a special thanks to great many students, in fact, from our own university and also from Amity International Schools who have attended this very important webinar. Thank you so much indeed. Wish you all the best and good health to each one of you. And thank you, Dr. Omkar. We'll be in touch with you further. Honorable Chancellor, sir.
Admin, you can close the link. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Doyen of drones. You are the doyen of drones, Dr. P.
Sir, we are especially grateful to our Honorable Founder President taking such a keen interest in a mission so important for the health of the nation, for the well-being of the people around the world. And in fact, an area where science and technology, as I said in the beginning, could be pushed beyond the conceivable limits and frontiers which we have visited so far. So this is the beauty of this mission and this great effort which is being made. It will advance the cause of science and technology and bring tremendous amount of bliss to people around the world. Thank you so much indeed, Dr. Omkar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.